I'm Danielle Johnson, and I am the Executive Director for the Texas Scholastic Esports Federation. We have built a network that connects students, teachers, and schools to make esports accessible, inclusive, and equitable. Just like you can be on the volleyball or the baseball or the basketball team, you can also be on the Rocket League team at your school. Weighted networks are to solve a problem. You don't create weighted networks just to create a weighted network. You create it because you have a question or you have a challenge that you need to solve. When we look at the standard XY graph that you encounter in school, we have two variables, X and Y. And so we're showing the relationship between two things. A weighted network shows us the relationship between a bunch of different things, and it shows us how much those things relate to each other or don't relate to each other, considering different variables. One way businesses use weighted networks is in transportation logistics. There's a reason when you fly from Dallas to Denver, you have to stop in St. Louis first. One of the coolest things about weighted networks is finding unexpected relationships. So when you start, come up with every variable that you can possibly think of. Geographic distance is an obvious variable in many weighted networks, but some of the non-obvious variables are things to consider. For example, in food delivery, the spoilage time and how long things stay fresh is a variable. Milk and cereal aren't going to be on the same distribution network. Multiple variables show us the organization's priorities. There is no perfect formula for doing this. Weighted networks are used to create a positive impact on our world. For example, World Central Kitchen is an organization that is first to the front lines of humanitarian, climate, and social crises with fresh food. In order to do that, they have to know where things are happening, they have to understand the supply lines, and they have to understand that the food has different expiration dates. For the Texas Scholastic Esports Federation, our values are accessibility, inclusiveness, and equity. The variables that we consider are school size and what title they're playing. Another thing that we consider is the geographic distance. If something is 600 miles away, it's not accessible to a student. If your organization is focused on its carbon footprint, you might consider mileage, waste, or energy usage as your variables. One piece of advice I would give you is to be user-focused. Who is going to be using this weighted network? How are they going to be adding new information? How are they going to be changing information and changing variables or adding new variables? In this process, you're going to have to iterate, refine, and optimize because you're not looking for a right answer, you're looking for relationships, and relationships are always changing. In creating equitable networks, we must consider our own biases. All data sets have biases. So when y'all are making your networks, make sure that you're asking lots of questions. Make sure you're including multiple viewpoints about what should be the highest priority. And make sure you're asking, who else's input do I need?